Hello, all you hardcore boxing fans out there. How are you doing? It's Russ here from Porky's Corner, and still the biggest voice in sport, or biggest gob. How you doing, Tel?
All right, mate. How you getting on? You all right? You
Yeah,
all right, Porky? Like,
I'm
son,
all right, Stan. Have you got
we,
a bit of an hangover, lad?
who, me?
Yeah,
No, 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 no. It was a light one, man. It was quite 4 pints stretched over a long stretch. It's just I got in late. That's all it was.
yeah. Not wrong with that,
Yeah, yeah.
though.
No, no, no. I'm all right, mate. Like, I've got to go for a run after we do this anyway, so I couldn't be too crazy. You know what I mean?
Okay. How's Rico?
It's all right, man. We were just sharing music tips earlier this morning.
You're not sending him all your Tupac and Biggie clips, are you?
Nah, mate. Sending him the levelers, Manic Street Preachers.
Is that what Rico's into, all that?
Nah, nah, nah. He's not joking.
Rico. Rico, go. Is he still loved up?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You know him, man. You know.
It should be with all that poke he's got. Who's going to leave
Yeah.
him?
Well, who's gonna leave Porky Russ, mate? Well, you know,
Fucking
when
guns on
Porky's
me, kid.
corner
No
goes
one's going to
global,
leave me, other kid.
nah, no chance.
Well, I don't really know where to start, Terry. Dennis's show last night at Stamford Bridge, Players
Ah,
Lounge.
mate, you wait, hold it. You roasted him. Yes, that I saw the video.
I'm not going to hammer him today, actually, because I spoke to a couple of mates. But my phone was red hot last night, as you can imagine. I'm not. I'll
Yeah,
tell.
he can't have been happy with that. But mate, wait, no,
Yeah, but I've got to be consistent, Terence. You know.
no. You took a blowtorch to that show. What
Well,
did you
look,
say?
go on.
Only two of these fights are rated on Box Rec.
I know, yeah. Do you know what?
No,
I
no, no.
feel for him, like. I feel
No,
for
no,
him.
but this was the thing, Russ. And then you're like, I'm going to tell you what.
I was told it straight, didn't I? I mean, I can't. It's a bit like, you see, people in boxing, we tend to defend our friends, don't we, or people that we get on with.
Mm,
When really we need to. Sometimes you've got to set your stall out, haven't you? We what your channel is. I know what my channel is. I can't criticize others. For example, Hughie Fury. Last couple of weeks, I've said, well, what's going on with Hughie? Does he need to change his trainer? Does he need better matchmaking, better management? Is the politics going on? What's going on? Why has he been missing a few years? You can't let your mates off. It's like Frotch. He's embarrassed himself, hasn't he, with a Turkey interview,
mm.
shouting off about national anthems in our country because he's very patriotic, Carl. 'Cause he boxed for England and that. And then once he gets the interview, he doesn't mention about national anthems to Turkey, does he? Basically, shit his pants, didn't he, out there because he wanted to get in there. That's the bottom line. Even though he's my pal and I've had his number 18 year, we have to tell it straight, don't we, on here? Same with Dennis. I worked for him for over 6 years. Never took a penny out at boxing. I did other things, as you know. But I have to tell it straight. When he's putting a show on, 10 fights, with an average per fighter ranking of 602 all the way across the board, then you've got this one on May 10th, 4 fights on with an average of 1,763. What's going on? Why is this like this? Why is Huey not getting matched? And why is Frotch carrying on like that? And where's his Ben interview? People
Okay,
keep
so
happy and all that. I'm going to do this and going to do that. Yeah, Huey can come out and say, I'm coming for them all. Who's sick? Joshua the lot. He's fighting Dan Garber. Oh, he fought Dan Garber, didn't he, last night? You know.
mate, um, so I
Well, we'll
feel for
start. We'll start with Huey.
all right.
Huey, go on. Start with Huey. Then we'll go to Frotch. Then Big Ron. Yeah.
Okay, cool. We'll do it in
We
that
have to be
order.
consistent, Terry. And if people want to fall out, I'm not really. I'm past caring now about trying to be everybody's mate in boxing. I have to be consistent to people that pay the members on here and come on my channel and support me. If you
Hmm.
fall out with people, so be it. I've done it all my life since I was a small boy. Since I used to do impressions in local pub as a kid, I used to take everybody off. So what will be, won't it? But we have to be consistent, which I have been for 7.5 years. Can't keep beating about the bush about certain people. We're not saying Frotch hasn't got a fantastic CV, but his media skills are shocking, aren't We'll start with Hughie though. Go on, Hughie. What do you think's going on there?
Um, this is tricky. Maybe I think it's one of two things. Either he doesn't want to box anymore and it will be dangerous to push him too fast, or people just don't care about him. So, because look, if he's training in the way that you'd imagine that he is, he should have been called up for that Parker fight, right? Let's be
Yeah.
honest. He should have been the first phone call. Look, mate, you know your way around the ring. You're a strong enough name. You should be in better shape than Piccoli. You fancy it. And the fact that that phone call wasn't made, from what I understand, lets me know that nobody cares.
What about
Now,
Hughie?
yeah, nobody cares. You don't hear the fans calling his name. This is a big problem. Like he hasn't got advocates. You know, I don't know if it's Peter's job. I don't know because I don't know what the relationship between those two is. But you'd imagine that would be Peter's job to be saying, "Look, we want fights," and he can't go back to. And because Peter was normally like, I'm not really one to shout my mouth off in the media, but you've been doing podcasts, so you do talk in the media, right? Why not say, here's who I want my son to fight in the next 12 months? Like, we have no reason to be excited for Hughie.
Yeah. Well, he won last night. Uh, I can't even fucking see what it says here. He won last night against a guy ranked 525, his sparring partner. Hughie's ranked 28 in world. He's got a good ranking. Do you think they're just trying to slip him up the rankings and just having anybody fights? Because for me, you can't call out Joshua and Usyk and say you're coming for them all and then be fighting a 40-year-old Dan Garber. You can't. So whoever's looking after him don't know what they're doing. And that's my
What's
opinion.
the last
My
serious
opinion.
fight he had, Russ?
The last serious fight he had, you say, phew, Povetkin, wouldn't you?
And how long ago was that?
Years ago, wasn't it? Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Christian Aimer. That was
Nah.
a few years ago. What now? Povetkin. Years ago, isn't it? Povetkin.
Yeah.
You know, he beat Dan Garber last night. I can't even get to see if I can't even see if it's a points win or a knockout. But Dan
No,
Garber, you can't go from Dan Garber and then call Usyk out, can you? So it's got to be political. Why Hughie's not getting his chances, or his style. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. He's missed all his best years. It's just not happening for him, isn't it? You see where I'm coming from? It's a bit like
he's
Thomas
he's not too
Alexander
old.
with nine
It's weird.
wins in 183 fights. You're not a boxer, Terry, if you're winning nine out of 180. If you are a baker and I baked 183 loaves and I burnt 170 odd of them, I'm not a fucking baker, am I? See where I'm coming
No,
from?
no, no, wait, no, no, no. So those guys who get like 9 wins and 180 losses, mate, they can box. Yeah, they can really box. What they've decided to do, Russ, is go instead of going for big money 3 or 4 times a year. I want to keep picking up small checks every 2 weeks. Right,
Well,
and there's a certain level of skill you need, Russ, to make sure you don't get knocked out, you don't get cut, so you can fight 15, 20 times a year. There's a certain skill that comes with that.
yeah. Well, with Hughie, getting back to Hughie, in my opinion, he's got to get a move on now. 31 in September. I can't defend him on here any longer. I mean, we've got people around me, friends and family, like, you've got to come out and be straight here with this. Otherwise, I'm ruining. It goes against everything I stand for, doesn't it? So
Hey,
if it were
tell you
anybody
what,
else, I'd criticise him, when I Terry.
hmm?
If it were anybody else, I'd be on him like a rash, when I so they can't have a free
You'd have
pass
ripped him a new one.
anymore. Yeah, you can't have a free pass or his dad. They've got to get a move on. Oh, behind the scenes, whatever they're doing, you can't keep calling out the top dogs for fighting men ranked 525. So
But he
whoever's
he lost to Povetkin 6 years ago, right?
is that what it was 6 years ago? You don't set date on it. October 21st, wasn't it?
I can't even remember.
Yeah.
But it was before the lockdown, and his career hasn't come back. And when it's been that long, Russ, it doesn't come back. That's just the harsh reality of the sport.
Yeah.
It doesn't come back.
So he's dining out on being a Fury, then, is that what we're saying? Thinking he can get a few paydays off the back of that. Because he's called Dylan White out any day before yesterday on Talksport, and Dylan White's come out and he said, and I quote, Hughie's been hit too much in head. It's first I've heard of these talks. You see, this used to get
What
me
happened to
wound
them
up.
being brothers?
Pardon?
What happened to them being brothers?
Being brother, who being brothers?
Hughie and Dylan. Don't you remember when they were meant to fight years ago?
Oh
Dylan's like, I
yeah,
can't
yeah,
fight
they're
Hughie.
there, yeah, yeah,
He's
yeah.
like my brother.
Well, this is how I look at it, right? When I used to be at Dennis's, I always go back to that because obviously we're over 6 year. And I said, why are you putting that presser out saying that so and so's in talks to so and so on phone, Bob Westerday at Sheffield Star or whatever, media people? And he said, well, I've sent a text. I said, that ain't in fucking talks. You put in an offer to somebody in a text, a WhatsApp text or an email, you had a reply. So why are you doing that? That used to get my goat. Used to really piss me off, stuff like that. And I'd go mad. But
No, but that's literally the game, though, Russ.
yeah,
That's
but
the
when
game with every
I
sport,
put, do you
though.
remember when I put that offer out on Twitter and he went mad, Dennis? This is before Porky's Corner. And I was trying to, he says to me one day, Dennis, you need to start thinking outside the box. So I went, oh, okay. So I sat there. And at the time, I was probably a little bit more wealthier than I am now. So what I did, I wrote a cheque out for £25,000. You remember it to Conor Benn to fight Danny Kennedy.
Big
When Dennis,
bird.
Kate, you remember it, don't you, on Twitter? When Dennis Barry Earn replied, didn't it? So that's in talks, isn't it? So Dennis coming, oh, what are you doing? What are you doing with Barry Earn on here? He causing me some right knackers. So you said think outside box, but Barry Earn's email was Conor Benn gets more than that. He only had an handful of fights. And everybody said he was crap, didn't they? But we thought
Yeah.
we could get I thought I could get Danny Kennedy into mix. So I was trying to think outside box. Well, then once Barry got replied and all that, I was like little pet one of them. But up till then, people were going, oh, he's doing this, he's putting billboards up, he's putting offers out with checks and that. So Dennis goes, well, if he accepts that, you can pay. I said, I'll pay it because I knew it'd be a good fight. Do you know what I mean? I knew it'd get him in mix. I know he wouldn't let me pay it. He would have. He wants. I was trying to find an opening for him, thinking outside box because how can you be serious about boxing if you're out of the country 300 days a year? You can't be, can you? Because you're just dealing with stuff on phone all the time. You need to sit him down. Now, this is why his shows are a mess at the moment because he's not on the ball, is he? But getting
See,
back to Hughie, I don't know what the answer is. I don't know what the answer is, mate. He should have flattened Dan Gerber in one round, shouldn't he? But it says on Boxer he dropped him in fifth or something. It doesn't say if it's a KO or points win. A six rounder. He's in a six rounder. Come on. He's fought for a world title and been a British champion. Why is he in six rounders?
there's something wrong. There's something they're not telling
Something
us.
going to miss in
There's
that. It's got to be something to do with nobody wants to work with them because they don't get on with Tyson. That's what I personally feel, and a few other people around me do. So they're being froze out. So they're just hanging around like a bad smell, and he's going stale, Hughie, isn't he? Nobody dare upset Bricktop, dare they? Do you know what I mean?
but
Ben Shallam's useless. So it's just frustrating. Like I say, if you see my inbox, I get slaughtered. So I'm just telling it straight. They need to get a move on with Hughie or pack up, go get a job. Or go on, I'm a celebrity, get me out of here or something. I don't know. It's frustrating for them, and it is for me. Do you think?
no, no. I think the mistake they made was if you go back to 2019, there weren't really a lot of heavyweights, right? So the route to like a Joshua Wilder was pretty clear. You've now come back into boxing and there's a load of traffic in front of you. And there are all these people that Hughie would have to beat for the fans to care. So he'd have to get through guys like Fabio Wardley now. And you look, when Hughie was fighting Parker, Fabio Wardley hadn't started boxing. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
um
Do you remember what I said the other day, Terry? I know, 'cause I know you're watching. I said, if Hughie Fury wants to get in the mix, they've got to take a scalp. They've got to roll that dice. Not your Dan Gerbers at this word. It's embarrassing that. Totally embarrassing. He's got to take a scalp, a Caballel, a Joyce, somebody like that, and an Ergovic. You know what? A fringe guy. You know, not a world champion, but some European level stroke top 15 guy. Got to do that. But they can't get it mixed, can they? So, in my
but,
opinion, it's
but
political
so
because the kid's talented.
but someone could put the money up. I refuse to believe that there aren't enough people, if they believed in Hughie, that could put the money up for an opponent. Go, right, we're going to do a show. Yeah, we're all going to bankroll it, and we're going to wheel one of these guys out like Hergovich.
Well, they did, didn't they, for Parker fight? They put the dough up, didn't they, thinking they were going to get it in Manchester and we'll get it to points and win this. It backfired. Bricktop stitched them up, didn't he? And so they're not going to dip in the pockets again after getting the fingers burnt that time, are they? I mean, Peter tells a story, doesn't he, about a little kid. If you're a kid and you put your hand, he said, don't put your hand on that. You put your hand on a hot radiator. You won't do it again, will you? Well, they're not going to put their hand in the pocket again for a Parker type fight, are they? So at TV companies, I don't think they will. I
Why
don't
would
think
they?
they will. I don't. So I don't know where they go in. A 30-year-old world championship junior gold medalist, and it's gone to shit, hasn't it? Absolutely gone to shit. Dan Garber, come on, age 30 fighting Dan Garber, a 40-year-old. It's
But meanwhile, the kid that he lost to, did he lose to Guido Vianello or did he beat Guido Vianello when they were
oh
juniors
Dan
together?
Garber.
No, no, Guido Vianello is fighting Richard Torres Jr. tonight in America. Maybe that's just a bad batch. Maybe that era is just a really bad bunch of boxers because that's the same era as like your Tony Yokas, etc. Maybe
Oh, do you
that's just
mean
a
when Hughie won gold medal?
yeah. Maybe that's just a bad batch, Porky.
I don't know. I mean, we were raving about Yoka, weren't we, at one point?
Yeah. We were raving
What
about Yoka, we
happened?
were raving about Huey. We thought the heavyweight division was in a good place. Like, look, I was guilty of it as well.
Hughie,
And
nobody's dropped him. He's hard to nail, isn't he, Hughie?
well,
It
we
just
don't know
seems a
because we haven't
waste
seen
of
this
talent
version.
to me. It's just, it's that's the most annoying thing for me. Wasted talent. Like David Allen, frustrates me to death because I know David Allen can fight. I know people give him sticks. He's never fit, but he's never given himself the best opportunity, has he? And I think whoever's looking after Hughie and advising him, they don't know what they're doing. They need to get other people on board. He's been around all TV companies and all that, and he's not got a home, has he? Really? He's ended up
Well,
on
he's never
T&D
entertained,
shows. Come on.
mate. He's just never entertained.
Yeah, maybe it's his own fault. Maybe there's something in here that needs unlocking, and his dad can't unlock it. Maybe people might need to look at the trainer because if it were anybody else, they would. But because Peter's got this reputation, nobody dare say fuck all, dare they? Maybe
Look,
it's time that
what
maybe
would you
it's
say
time
that?
some old truths were told because the kids' careers going backwards, fighting Dan Garber. Come on. 32 emails
What
this
would you say
morning
now, Russ?
torturing me about this.
Yeah? What would you say right now in this situation? If it wasn't Huey Fury, what would you say about the training situation
I'd be
right now?
saying they need to get a new trainer and
No, no,
unlock.
no, no. Where would you say he should go?
Go to Adam Boone, the Dark Lord. No, I don't know. I don't know where he should go. Don Charles. No, I don't know. He's going to listen to his dad, isn't he? Dad's in boxing. I don't know. There's something amiss. You don't win gold medals as amateurs and then end up fighting Dan Garbers when you're 30, when you've already been in a world title fight, which I thought he won. You've been a British champion and you're being fast tracked, but you're fighting Dan Garber. Come on. And then look at them others he's been in with. It's a joke. So it's got to be political, or they don't want to fight anybody. They're just hanging around for a big fight. I
No,
don't.
I think I
It's a
know what it is,
mess.
Russ.
You
I
what,
think I
mate?
know what it is.
What?
It's this. They're hoping that something's going to click in Huey, right?
Yeah,
And so
what?
they're ticking over until something clicks in him, and he gets that. If it's devil, if it's hunger, I don't know what it is, but they're waiting for something to click in him because they could have easily found the money for Huey Fury. I refuse to believe they couldn't, right? But they don't want to spend it now because they're like, he ain't hungry. And until he's hungry, I think they're going to keep him ticking over like this.
Well, you're six rounders on GMB shows. You having a laugh? A gold
It is what it
medalist.
is.
We're talking about a gold medalist here who's 30. He's 10 year younger than Joyce or 9 year younger than Joyce, right? And he's a gold medal amateur. And he's fighting his six rounders.
Eh?
Hey, what is going on here? Who are these experts who we can't rush him and all this? What? It's overcooked now, this we can't rush him and all this, wait while he gets his man strength. It's just done me head in, mate. Can't defend him anymore. Can't. Got it. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing, isn't it? I mean, you admit it yourself. You've given me stick for it, and we have to come out and tell the truth, don't we, on here? That's what we do. It's a joke. We're going backwards. So, right, we've exhausted enough on Hughie. Women loving men want to be him. Let's have a look. Right, do you want to go on to part two, Terry?
Ah, pal.
Well, I'll see you on part two. Thanks for liking and subscribing and leaving a comment. As you can see, we're not taking any prisoners today. All right? Pop, pop, bang.